Hola, papalitos. Welcome to Nick and Sergio's Fun Watchlist. Today we are covering episode 3 of La Quinta Ola of La Mas Draga. I'm Nick. This is Sergio. Well, I was going to say hello, Sergio, but I'm glad that you took the initiative. You're learning.
I always say I'm Sergio.
I know, but I just feel like, I'm sort of very well-versed in media.
Well, I'm sorry. There's a camera in front of you, and I know you haven't had a camera, and you're asking for it, so please have a camera. This is your camera. Enjoy it.
We will definitely be talking about last week's Salsao because it was out of control. But we're also here to talk about episode 3, and I think we both agreed this episode kind of solidified it. This is a very intense season of La Mas Draga. There's a lot of talent. The challenge was really fun this week. I had a great time with this episode.
Oh yeah, this episode and overall this past week has proven that this is an incredible season. And one thing to note is that at the end of the day, this is a reality TV show before it is a competition. And so as we talk about the situation that's been going on, we do want to preface that we love these queens. We would never go and send hate to them. Like, please don't do that. Don't be that type of
Even
people.
if you think the girl's mean, and maybe you're right that she's mean.
Yeah.
Who knows? Don't be mean to her too. Then you're just like the mean person.
Yeah,
you're the only one we know is mean for sure in that case.
Exactly. You can just keep it to yourself. Like, we're just enjoying the show and realizing that it's reality TV. And so now that we're done with that,
yes.
Can we please talk about the Salsao?
Okay, before we get into this week's episode, for new viewers of La Mas Draga, there is a sort of untucked equivalent called the Salsao.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown of what exactly happened between Miss Greta White and Miss Deseos Fab?
I can totally do that. I think one of the things that we have to realize, this is the first Salsao where they recorded after a girl has been eliminated. The judge had limited time, and so they had to film the lip sync and elimination way before they could film the Salsao. And so you're not assuming who's going to be in the bottom, who's going to be lip syncing. You were better, I was better, you were bad. Like, you don't have those conversations. You already just go into the fact of like, damn, those two girls were in the bottom. And then you see Santa Lucia first come in. Everyone hugs her. Everyone's asking her, are you the one who's staying? Are you the one who's staying? Like, everyone is so frantic this episode. And, she tells them that she is multiple times. I think there was just so much chaos and energy happening. And Deseos Fab walks in. Everything seems normal. She's defeated, as in, normal as in she's defeated. And she's realizing that she has been eliminated. And then what a turn of events. I feel like it was bitterness and sadness that she had been eliminated. And so she wanted to just point a finger. I think that's how it came across at first.
Yeah.
And so she was saying, like, you were telling me all this time behind the scenes of how I was going to fail. So basically, she was putting a lot of pressure on Greta for being the person who put her in the bottom, which I don't think that's correct.
I don't think that's fair.
We talked about Deseos' outfit, and I love Deseos, and so I don't think that that's necessarily correct. But the thing that made it interesting is that Greta White was denying everything that Deseos was saying until the point where she was like, actually, I did say some things. We did talk about a little bit of, in the first episode, Peque Valderas during the workroom. Yeah. She asked Liking, oh, does Greta like you? Because she doesn't like a lot of girls in Colombia. And then I think when we first watched that, we was like, whatever, like, oh, drag
Why would you think about that?
They're like, don't like each other.
Yeah.
But the fact that it came up literally the second episode and Deseos is already pointing a finger, I think that I enjoy the drama and I'm here for the drama. I'm not going to take this serious at all.
Yes.
And, I think I'm here to enjoy this season. And this has proven that this season will be excellent.
Yeah. And the thing that's tricky about that is it's like, I want to watch this drama unfold. I maybe have a side that I prefer. Just don't let that turn into you being a toxic person online, because that's never cute. So don't do that. Yeah.
And with that, I think that we can move into the episode.
We got to talk about this episode. It is jam-packed.
It is jam-packed, and we both were literally crying when we saw who the guest judge for this episode.
I mean, this was also an early bonding thing for us, was our love of Mon Laferte. We've seen her live together. We're going to see her again in about a month.
We're going to see her in 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
Time flies. Mon Laferte is amazing, and I think she's been a very requested judge for La Mas Draga for a while, so I'm glad she was finally able to make it happen.
I hope that, and I think Rebel Morg mentioned something online that she really pushed someone to have
good.
on. So thank you, Rebel Morg.
Thank you, Rebel Morg, for everything you do. Let's get into the beginning of the episode. We've not even talked about this mini challenge, which I think was the best mini challenge in a while.
In a long time.
It was very funny.
This is one of the best mini challenges in the entire franchise.
They have done these improv challenges a few times. It's not always a courtroom, obviously, but I think sometimes they just get a little too chaotic.
Very quickly.
Yeah, and I was sort of pleasantly surprised that like all of the characters in both teams were like really well defined.
Yes.
They were different than the characters around them. The cases were funny. It was all very good. I think we watched the first one and we thought like, well,
clear winners.
The second one could
there's
not possibly be
no
better.
way someone can beat this group.
Yeah, and then we were, pleasantly surprised by the second group.
I think we were pleasantly surprised because they were the shy girls. And
they
pulled through. And I think that might be a big reason why they were the winners. Although I don't think we really agreed on that.
I think if it was totally fair, then the loud girls probably should have won. But I like underdog stories. I like the girls who aren't as like acting focused. Like, I like that they got to win this one.
Yeah, and with that, this is the third episode. The first 2 minute challenges, no one has won.
Finally, someone wins.
And what happens? They're like, since no one won the first 2 episodes, we're just gonna give immunity to half the cast.
The people. Why not? Let's give 6 people a repeater badge. Let's give 6 people immunity.
People were complaining.
Oh, and then Greta, you can also maybe get immune, and your immunity never expires. And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, everyone was so everyone was being hateful online for Drag Race UK giving like 6 stars in one
7?
episode.
I can't remember.
These girls are getting literally saved from being eliminated, which is even worse.
Yeah, I don't know that any. Well, I'm not the judge of the show. For me, I don't know that any mini challenge should make multiple people immune. That's just...
by the fact that they were both really good, I think that it is deserving that they would all win.
But they were already all gonna win. They weren't like, wow, everyone did so good, so your whole team gets immunity. Like, if it was presented to me that way, I would have
I also think it's the fact that it was presented as a mini challenge instead of a maxi challenge. Like, it could have, if it would have been a bigger challenge, then it would have made sense of like, you're all the winners. Yeah. And then you're the like low group. It's just the way that they presented.
It was a little strange, but it was a good challenge. Can we talk about some of our favorite characters in the challenge? I want to say right off the bat, the star for me was Paper Cut. This character was so absurd and silly. I love the movements. I love the physical comedy. I thought the weird accent was really good. I love that he was like fancy. He said he was fancy, but he was like clearly a dirtbag. I thought it was all really good.
I think in terms of improv and performance and confidence on stage, and I keep repeating this, Peque Valderas, like...
Peque was incredible.
She was able to take even the smallest little bit of note and like move with it and like push the entire group in a direction. And I think that that's very powerful. And
and she was on a team with a bunch of big characters, so it was impressive that she was able to find her moments without like actively overpowering anyone.
And I think Liza and Susie showed us that she is a host.
She was great. Yeah, she was really keeping that together, and I think one of the reasons I wasn't sure if I was gonna like the second one as much was because Hidden was the judge in that sketch, and she started off kind of like quiet, timid, but that's just kind of who she is. Mm-hmm. When she hit her groove, I think she was really good. But
I think that they were all in sync. They were all in sync. They were in the same energy, where I think the first group was a little bit kind of giving you that OG La Mas Draga chaoticness, which was amazing, but still very strong. So,
Points to the second team who did win. I do think they had the more interesting concepts, like the twins saying they weren't sisters was very funny.
Their story was strong.
The alimony payment, that was also funny, but it was just like a little like, oh, what do you argue about in these courtroom shows? It's always like alimony or something. So I like that the girls thought outside of the box on the second team. Any other thoughts on the mini challenge?
I loved every single one of them.
So, as always, our discussion of the workroom is very dependent on whether or not they say anything
On what happens or not.
Yeah.
But I think we realized this episode that so many of these queens come from very inclusive families. And I was so surprised that it wasn't just one, it was like two. You know, like they came coming out and I was like, oh, I love this.
Peke has 2 moms. Well, a dad as well, but 2 moms. And they identify as lesbians, so that's tight. And Aisha Dollkills opens up about her mom, her words, not mine, her mom who is a trans man, but she still refers to this man as her mom, which, great, love that. It was very sweet to see her talk about that. Yeah.
Very sad to see where that led us into the end of the episode.
Yeah, unfortunately, we get into... Uma is being a little bit nosy. She's admitted that she loves the gossip.
Yes.
So she's like, hey, Light King, how come you're not really talking about this? And Light King was having a really tough time this episode. I
think one of the things that we have to acknowledge sometimes is that just because you're in TV, you shouldn't tell your story if you don't want to.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be expected to be like all the way. Yeah,
so I don't know how I feel about this and the fact that they're showing sort of the more pressure of the girls being like, we're trying to share our secrets, like tell us something that, you know. I respect Light King. I do feel that maybe it hinders her to always just be this quiet, but I don't think that's the reason why you should push her to open up.
I agree. I think that if she does want to be more open, that will happen on her own time. So, and then also we have Santa Lucia tell us that she comes from a Mormon family. So we've got, on one end, we've got the really inclusive, liberal LGBT families, and then we have this sort of sadder situation. And Santa was talking a lot about sort of trying to, and I've heard this happen with queer Mormons before, where they just kind of try and live in 2 worlds, you know, and they sort of change the way they dress or the way they express themselves when they're with their Mormon family. And even though that was a very sad story, I think it turned into something beautiful on the runway.
I think it turned into an empowerment, especially taking the stage like that, coming out to her mom through her confessional.
In the confessional, which was very cute.
I think overall, this was a very strong episode for Santa Lucia. It was like her coming back, especially from last episode.
Yeah, and I think because, you know, Uma is doing her best to be a good friend, so I don't think she was trying to be malicious. But I think what she was doing is, in a way, she was like, you could be having this moment that Santa Lucia is having because, frankly, she's aware that that's going to, you know, push her story forward. That's going to protect you. She's probably trying to protect her sister Light King, which I think is admirable. So she tried. We go to the runway. And oh my gosh. Rewind. We didn't even say what the main challenge was this week. It's La Mas in color, right?
La Masa color.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is very interesting because I think this is like we've had other colorful themes, but I feel like in this one is very specific to TV, and so
because Johnny Carmona at the beginning, he told the story of a scientist, engineer,
it's a scientist, engineer, designer,
triple threat over
drag
here.
queen, you know,
everything.
Mocatrice.
One sec, I'll find it. Well. I tried to look it up and I did not screen cap at the appropriate time. So he is a Mexican inventor and he
invented the color.
Well, he's from Guadalajara and he was born in February 17th, 1917. I don't know his name. It will appear right here.
We will try not to forget you.
So I mean, first of all, super interesting. I did not know that a Mexican inventor invented color TV.
I didn't either.
Learned a lot on this show. Thank you, Johnny Carmona, for your history lessons.
Yeah.
So in relation to that, the challenge is very specifically to have a reveal from black and white to color.
Which I think in concept, this is such a fantastic take.
Yes.
Of you know, you need to start in black and white and then you need to turn into color. I think that thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like once you think about it and you're like, whoa, I have to go from black and white to color, especially for when it comes to phase. I think
what are you going to do about your makeup?
Yeah.
People had different solutions for this and some worked better than others. Okay, so we get to the runway. Maka comes out. I didn't get her outfit at first, but then I was like, oh, right, black and white to color. Black and white to color. Okay, sure.
I did not see that.
You didn't get it?
I did not see that because I don't think that's what she was trying to do.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No.
Everyone else was doing color.
I have a thing about tank tops, and I hate seeing tank tops on TV or anywhere in person. So I don't think I was a fan of it.
Okay. We see Raquel Martinez. She looks beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Love this little tie-dye number with the little midriff. Loved that. Yari is looking fantastic. She seems a little less sick.
A little better, but it's still like, it's so tragic that you get sick at the worst time of the year where you have to be filming. And like, people are going to be watching this. You know, it's like people are going to be watching you for years. Not even just now, like for years.
Moving on, we check in with Leital. I love this look tonight. The big old headpiece.
Go big or go home. That's her motto.
Yeah, and she was smart enough to make her headpiece getting caught in the stage like a running gag. And it kind of made me laugh every time. And then, as we discussed, dream guest judge for both of us, we have Mon Laferte. She comes out. She's wearing a very cute oversized suit.
She's serving.
She's so quiet and sweet,
but direct. Like I feel like her judgment was so precise, direct, and also overall, she has just the beauty essence in her delivery that even if she's telling you a bad thing, you're like, wow. Oh,
sure, thank you, Mo.
Yeah.
I do look like shit. First onto the runway, we have Light King. I want to say first of all, I like both garments. Mm-hmm. Can we agree? The black and white was good. It was very graphic. It had a lot of good silhouette elements. And then underneath, I thought of the kind of neon Technicolor reveals underneath. I thought hers was maybe the best one. But it was just kind of in the reveal. It was the taking off the headpiece, like her skirt got caught on her shoe. And just in general, she does tend to have problems displaying confidence on the runway, and she keeps getting called out. I think
that, and same with us, we keep saying every episode, she doesn't believe it, and because she doesn't believe it, it doesn't show up. And the thing is, she looks stunning.
She looks amazing.
She looks beautiful. She looks incredible in her outfits, and I think that there's still that like lack of self-assurance that you can do it. Yeah, and I think that she's just in her head.
I hope the story is her overcoming that, and we get to see her really
I think she could get to the very top.
Light up in the back half of the season. Light up? You thinking about it? What's her name?
Her name is Light King.
I know, but Light. It's her first name.
Okay.
Next up, we have Peque Balderas. Wow.
Performance.
Yeah, she told a story. I love that she was the interviewer on the TV, and then we got to see her interview the Venanito in person. It was like she was on TV, and it was great. The reveal, there was a few girls who did the, what do you call it? The
Technicolor?
The Technicolor, like your TV's broken, so you look at this weird rainbow. There's a bunch of people who did it. I do think Peque's was one of the better looks underneath.
Oh, I think overall, the tailoring, strong. Like, one of the things, again, this goes back to confidence. If you're able to sell yourself on stage, it does not matter what you're wearing.
And she's always got such a bright look on her face. Yeah. She moves very confidently. I thought she was wonderful tonight.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah. Next up, we have Liza Sansusi. And I think this is a great example of just how different the runway is on La Mas Draga as compared to like Drag Race or Dragula or what have you. You really can bring props. You can tell a story. And that having been said, maybe this one got a little confusing for me.
I think she was trying to be theatrical, and like she was bringing her own drama. I feel like there was so much happening.
Yeah, so she comes out and she's not showing her face, and I think that's because she
has
couldn't
color makeup.
Yeah, but she's holding a map to Oz, and she's wearing a version of Dorothy's dress that's in black and white. I will say, if you remember, season 12 of Drag Race, Gigi Good did do a black and white Dorothy reveal into you remember? And she ripped off the boot covers.
Yeah. Well, I have a better one for you.
Oh, someone else has done this.
Margarita,
wait, really?
La Mas Draga girl, has a song where she turns from black and white Wizard of Oz into color, and that's the entire performance. So keep it there.
So we do love Liza, and I think that parts of this presentation really worked for me. I loved the Venanito jumping up and trying to change the TV. I loved the channels changing by the curtains being ripped.
Oh, that was incredible.
That was all great. I think
it took too long.
It took too long, and that was a comment the judges gave her as well. I think if it was a little shorter, if she had managed to change faster, if there was maybe, I don't know, just one more exciting element to either of the garments, because I do feel like the garments were a little bit of an afterthought.
No, I think that they were really well done, and they really went with the story. I think for some of them, it's like always this balance of like, you don't want to do too little, but you also don't want to do too much. Yeah. And it's like always finding that balance of you have to be direct, precise, and to the point. Because sometimes, especially for this show, like if they drag on too much, sometimes you do lose some of the excitement because you're now seeing the sort of pauses that happen and that take you out right away.
Yeah. So overall, I think this was a good presentation.
Oh yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Next up, we have Hidden Mistake, and I really liked this.
Very cute.
It was pretty simple, but I think, like you were saying, just with Lisa's, it's like sometimes less is more. Because she still had a lot going on. She had the fake dog, which was very funny.
Yes.
She had this sort of burlesque-y. I loved that she popped out as she was changing color when she popped out from behind the dressing screen. That was a strong choice. And going from like classy businesswoman to burlesque dancer is like a perfect old Hollywood story, which goes with the black and white to color theme.
Yes. Overall, really good.
Yeah. That's all you want to say?
That's all I want to say.
That's good. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Next.
Well done, Hidden. We loved it. Next up, we have Isabella and Catalina, our California girls. And what? How are they getting so good? Because they had kind of a rough start.
They had a rough start, but somehow I'm falling for them.
This was a great run.
I'm realizing how much I'm really enjoying them. And at the same time, I'm realizing how good they've been.
Yeah.
But somehow, to me, based on the other girls, I was not really there with them yet. But I think I've arrived. I think I've arrived, and I think you can also talk about the fact that they were secret girls, so we didn't even see them in the audition. So I think that's why also it took me a little longer to get to them, but I feel like now I've arrived and I'm here for them.
I like them. I wasn't sure how to feel like first American girls on the show. Like, is that even something we're really excited about? But they're bringing a lot of, I don't know, they're bringing a really unique perspective. I like it. And I thought this reveal was great. The sort of, I'm going to rip off your pants. Now I'm going to rip off your pants.
I mean, the reveal was incredible.
It was so cute. And going from this, like, sort of, I don't know what you would call it, this sort of, like, party fop into, like, Marie Antoinette was really nice.
It's just, like, they're so playful with each other, but they're also so in sync. And I think that is something that I mentioned while watching the episode. It's just, like, I can't believe how in sync they are with each other. I mean, it might just be the twin thing. you know?
They can psychically talk to each other.
And be like, I'm going to trip you right now, and you're going to fall to your death.
I mean, we can do that, because we're married. Here, I'm going to send you a message. Did you get it?
Ew. No.
So, yeah. Great job, twins. We are kind of loving you at this point. I hope they continue to just get better and better. Yeah. Because Red Rabbit they only made it about halfway through, right? So if the twins, what if the twins make it to the end?
I think they get out before halfway.
Well, regardless, like what happens if we literally have twins competing for the La Mas Draga?
I mean, I would be in shock if they make it all the way up, just because they're a duo and that we've never seen that happen. So
it would be interesting.
It would be amazing to see it.
They do have
want everyone in the top, like everyone we keep talking about.
Everyone is great, so I hope no one goes home. I hope it's All Stars 7. Next up, we have Fifiesta. This is my girl. I told you.
Front runner.
I mean, she won. Spoiler alert, she wins the runway. This was so cool. A lot of people, like we were talking about, did the Technicolor stripes. But she went even older than that. She did, like, in early broadcast days when your TV was broken, there would be, like, a circle that said no signal. And that was behind her. And she was a bull, a black and white bull. And then when she flipped down on the ground and that colorful lady popped out of her butt, I was like...
freaked out right away.
I couldn't believe it. I was confused. I was like, did she push her body?
Yeah.
Did she like do a flip and push her body into another garment? Like I had no idea what was happening.
I had so many questions, but I did not care I had questions. I was just enthralled in the performance.
It was such a great performance.
Such a great performance, which she turns into the bull and she's actually, she's
She's
being a
bucking,
bull.
yeah.
Yeah, like it was a clear idea that was executed so differently from everybody in terms of concept. It was so unique.
It was so unique and smart, and I think that she is proving that she is kind of the one who's able to think most outside the box with some of these challenges, which that's a huge asset in a show like this. That helps you stand out every single time. So as long as we're saying pros and cons, this was probably my favorite of the week, but I do wish there was a way that maybe the lady like stayed up, or if she was rocking back and forth more, that could have worked. I wish it wouldn't have fallen off of her as she was exiting the stage, but I do think she did a brilliant job hiding that and working it into the story.
I think if this episode and UK season 4, episode 1, if you're watching, the girls who win those challenges, things fall off of them. So good for them.
It falls off. It doesn't matter. Just
we're
keep
letting
a straight face.
We're letting mistakes finally not be a reason why you don't win or a challenge. So.
I mean, it was hard to deny that this was the most inventive and surprising, and I loved it. Well done, Fifi.
Well done.
Next up, we have Santa Lucia. What a redemption. I love this season so far because we have people who maybe weren't exciting us with their fashion right away, but right away, Santa has a perfect silhouette coming out. I love this like Comme des Garçons villain thing she's doing.
Very Maleficent.
Very Maleficent. And then she has her prop Book of Mormon, which she opens, and there's like a gay little rainbow in there and some boys kissing. So loved that. And then she reveals into, I think, one of the better garments of the night. It was...
Totally, yes. Yeah. I mean, impeccable. She looks stunning. Like Mon said, like when she was walking, it felt like she was floating to me. I was like, it looks like you're floating on stage. Yeah. Like she was radiating energy. I think it has to do a lot with the meaning of the runway and we what we heard during the workroom. So I think, like I said, really good week for Santa Lucia.
And I feel like maybe in some ways she came here to tell this story. So the fact that she got to tell it was great. And especially the fact that she got to look this good doing it, because I loved there was only like 3 colors in the garment, but they were so perfectly matched with each other. They complemented each other nicely.
Great color story.
Yeah. And the little spiny sort of latex rib cage. Sometimes I don't like those pieces, but I thought it really worked on this one. So love this all around, Santa.
Good job. Yeah.
And hopefully you're going to get the win. We thought you were going to win.
I don't know why she didn't win. I thought she was going to be the winner.
I think with this story, I think she deserved the win. I think what kept her is Leightal was real mad at that wig line.
Yeah, I mean, but we couldn't even see it. And I think, and this is for us American viewers. I feel like when I watch this, I watch it through the lens of Drag Race, and I try not to do that a lot. But if this had been a Drag Race episode, based on storyline, Santa Lucia was the clear winner. Yeah. And I'm glad that this is not Drag Race and that they do everything by their own rules. So, Fifi was incredible as well. So good job for both of them.
Good to both of them.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Greta White. Ooh. I did like this. I thought it was a little confusing at first. It didn't give me Marilyn when she first came out.
It did not give me Marilyn.
That having
until
been said,
she started singing,
and that was funny.
And then I realized she was wearing the dress that Kim K ripped apart. And then she sang, and then she transformed. She got shot. I don't know what happened. Something was happening. People were late, and she blamed them, and then just kind of turned into. Which I was like, I literally guessed before she transformed. I was like, is she going to give us Jackie? Like, I don't know what it was. I think her makeup was more Jackie than Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. Which is why I wasn't really there when she was Marilyn. But overall, I think it was fine.
Yeah, I think as far as going from a black and white to color, these are 2 iconic looks. The Marilyn dress and the Jackie O pink suit. Is that what it's called? Yeah. It was a bummer that the pillbox hat got knocked off, though, because that just makes you look like Jackie.
They were talking about when they offered her the little
Oh, the pill box.
The pill box. I was like, good joke.
No, but that was a joke that we all made together. So, pill box. So, we should talk a little bit about what happened on the runway, just because it kind of ties in with the Salsao a little bit.
I think it ties in a little bit of she's kind of like me. Actually, maybe she will turn into a bad person, so I don't want to say that, but I already said it. But like sometimes you don't really measure your words before you don't really think enough before you speak. And you do sometimes find yourself in situations where you're like, oops, I'm sorry.
So next up we have...
Wait, I'm not done. Yeah, I feel like Greta is sort of becoming the villain of the season, perhaps. Do you see that happening?
I feel like that's what we're being told, but
I think that's what they're shaping.
But then also I think back to previous seasons of La Mas Draga, and they really don't do villain edits.
They don't, but they do show you a lot when someone's not being the most cordial and friendly.
Well, let me put it this way. Would the villain of last year been Vera? Vera Cruz?
See, that's what they were trying to do with her, but the edit was like a little bit choppy. It really didn't push that through. And then they tried to do that with Sirena by being like, oh, you don't respect anyone in the staff, and like you're out. And then I think the villain ended up being Olguera. You know, the jewelry maker. That brought the jewelry.
Guy who yelled at Vera.
Yes. So, I think that there are some girls that are shown, or they try to show in a bad light, but I think for this one, they're like feeding us every episode. Yeah. And they're building the storyline that it might happen here or it might not,
Well, that's the only reason I ask is like maybe they're building to some sort of breakthrough for her where she, lets some of these things that are getting in the way of her social interactions, she lets them go. I don't know. Maybe that's what happens.
Maybe.
I hope that happens. I still really like her. I don't think this was the strongest week for her, but I also think she had a perfectly safe presentation, and the little mistakes did not have to be as big of a deal as she made them out to be. I think she played herself a little there. Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Aisha Dollkills, and I finally learned how to pronounce her name.
After her to go. Shut up. Oh my god, I forgot.
It's easy to forget that Aisha went home this episode because it kind of makes no sense. That having been said, this wasn't my favorite runway.
I mean, this was a mess. Like, she was wearing a top the entire time in her head, and I was like, why is she wearing that on her head? And then the third reveal, you're like, that's a top?
It's a top?
Like, that does not add up.
It was a little strange to me.
I did not like the reveals whatsoever.
When she did her first reveal, we both commented that it was way too simple. Mm-hmm. So the compliment I want to give her is I think it was very smart to play off that expectation, because she kind of acted as though she was going to exit and then was like, wait, I have a couple more reveals.
But even those reveals were not strong enough.
I didn't say they were good.
So why would you do 4 reveals if you can't even do 2?
Yeah. I don't think that having the little... I think she convinced herself that it would be so fierce to have the head accessory be a blouse, and then it surprises us at the end that it was a blouse the whole time. But all I could do was look at it and be like, what is this weird thing strapped to her head?
Yeah.
It looks like a metal mesh bra. Oh, I guess it is. Okay. So yeah, not my favorite, but it's pretty heartbreaking that she ended up being in the bottom.
Pretty heartbreaking.
So yeah, not our favorite, but we love you, Aisha. And I'll give one more compliment. I like the gloves. I like the gloves that she revealed too.
Yeah. And if you come to LA, we'll take you to Dollskills.
We will take you to Dollskills, and you can finally go to your namesake. Next up, we have Paper Cut, and this is just like classic paper that we know and love.
Staple piece, paper cut.
Yeah, you
commented... A little bit too close to her elimination outfit, just in black and white.
A little similar, but the reveal was quite different. What was underneath
spectacular,
was very different. Yeah.
I think we got the paper cut we had been waiting for.
I will say this every time that one of these very talented performers does some sort of clown look. I fucking hate clowns. It's not a fun aesthetic. I think it's stupid. It looks like shit. That having been said, this was a nice garment.
You look like shit. Your makeup is shit. She's shit. No, he looks incredible.
Looks fucking incredible. And the only reason I
yeah.
bring up that I hate clowns is whenever a clown look is appealing to me, I want to give it an extra shout out. And that's how I felt about this clown look paper.
Yeah, Paper Cut is back and he is showing us what he brings to the stage.
Yes.
Or what he's best at.
Yeah, are you a little worried for him though? Because Leital is just really bored with the makeup and it's kind of just Paper's thing.
I do agree.
It's Paper's staple.
I do agree with what Leital is saying.
Paper's staple. It's like a staple, like a drag staple. And he's Paper.
Truco. I do agree with what Leital is saying. I think that you've already seen yourself on TV. You already know how makeup looks on TV.
Yeah.
You can go the extra step to take your makeup and elevate it.
Yeah, and what I appreciate about Leital is a lot of judges on these shows, they'll just say, you know, this makeup's not good enough. This is not enough. You need to do more. You need to come harder. You need to be amazing. And it's like she gives very specific, like, hey, I'm not just saying this. Here's some specific ways you could elevate it. Maybe do a 3D mustache. Maybe have a short wig rather than using your regular hair. Maybe color your hair somehow for each look, you know. These are all things, trucos, that I think are helpful. So, good critiques today, Leital.
Yeah, good critiques from that.
Yeah. Next up. I'm obsessed with Mikhail.
I love this outfit.
This
I don't know why.
So funny.
I love this.
Is the padding completely inhuman? Sure.
Yes.
Is the dress unfinished?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I see undergarments when I shouldn't be seeing undergarments?
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I don't care. I loved it. The stupid Betty Boop head was so funny.
When I saw the head, I was like, I don't even need to know who it is because I can already assume who it's going to be. And then she started walking and dancing like Betty Boop.
When she was dancing like Betty, it was really good.
I love this girl.
Yes, and you did call that she was going to turn into Jessica Rabbit,
I did.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Because of the movie.
What?
Who killed or who murdered Rabbit? Joe Rabbit. No, that's
Jojo Rabbit.
What is it called? Roger Rabbit? Roger?
Yeah.
Do you know it?
It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I just wanted you to keep guessing for a while.
Because they do say in the movie that Betty Boop used to date Roger Rabbit and then he left her for
a cartoon in color.
A cartoon in color.
Wow. Metaphors.
Yeah.
And the Jessica Rabbit worked for me. I agree, as we said, the bra straps were distracting. But I think kind of the most clever part of it was when she did the purple paint on her arms to be Jessica's iconic purple gloves. I thought that was clever and didn't really get the attention it deserved.
I am just obsessed with the way she thinks and the way she just delivered it. You know, she may not be the most polished, but I think in terms of entertaining,
she's great.
She has been really entertaining.
Yes. The girls leave the stage. The judges discuss, and the judges are pretty fired up because I think I
don't get why you're shocked, girl. Like, you're in this show, you know what's happening.
They're mad that the girls with immunity would have been in the bottom. That's what they're mad about.
That's what they're mad about because they're
why
like,
else do you have immunity?
That's the whole point of immunity. And then we have Maka saying that she's gonna revoke it was kind of shaping like she wanted to revoke,
which would have been fun. That would have been a gag. I thought it was kind of heading there, but what actually happens is Aisha, who is actually
gonna be in the bottom either way without.
Yes, but Aisha was also La Mas for Raquel Martinez.
Which
Isn't that crazy?
Did not make any sense in my head. I don't know if she missed the name of the girl she wanted to be in the top.
Yeah, she checked the wrong ballot.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way you said the right name.
It was very confusing.
Oh, actually, no. The one that would have been in the bottom is Greta. I'm remembering the...
You want me to pull it up?
No, I'm remembering. And she has an 8. Greta has an 8. And then Aisha has a 12. And then the 10 is... which would have been the girl Uma Kyle. So it would have been Uma Kyle and it would have been...
Why are you so good at math?
I am just visualizing the numbers. I'm sorry. I can see it. but it, without the immunity, it would have just been Uma Kyle and Greta. So yeah. Aisha would have been saved.
Fiesta wins. And
Yes.
then second win in a row. Doesn't happen a lot this early.
Literally, like third episode and you already won once. But she won the auditions. She won the whole like, the producers picked her because she was the best instead of the fans, which was the sales and Lysis and Susie. So she already won that. Does that count? So she's like
3 wins.
Really showing us that she can think outside of the box, and her concepts are just so different and so well executed.
And then unfortunately, the judges are real torn up about it, but they tell Aisha and Greta that they will be lip syncing. And they're of course going to lip sync to a Mon Laferte song because Mona is here. Of course.
Yeah. Which song would you have wanted?
I would have loved No Te Fumes Mi Marijuana because I would have loved a hype up song. She does great ballads, but I just like a upbeat song generally for a lip sync. And
I would have liked Amárrame with Juanes. That's also a great
But can
song.
you do a duet? Because who's going to be Juanes?
They can be
go
Juanes.
like this?
They can be both. I have a little puppet.
Yeah, that would be very funny. Okay, I like this now.
But I mean, they picked an iconic song.
It's her biggest hit.
One of her biggest hits. And we were singing along with the girls.
Yeah.
And I feel like we thought that Aisha
started stronger.
She was strong, and she was actually like, I felt more emotion coming from her.
Me too, actually.
But I think that I was telling Nick that Mon Laferte, and this is just from like being fans, like I don't know her, but she just shows always so much sincereness, and like she really like is a nice, kind person that I think she looked at the runway and she looked at the lip sync, and also in the lip sync, Greta was the one bringing the blood, and when Mon Laferte said,
was the gag,
when you pulled the blood, it reminded me of when I wrote the song that I was like, oh, like right away I was like, oh,
bye Aisha.
Bye Aisha, yeah.
Yeah, and the blood was fun. I liked the blood, and I think what was nice about this lip sync is they managed to come together quite a bit, but still perform on their own. So it was a satisfying lip sync, but unfortunately, we have to say bye to a very, very talented queen, Miss Aisha Dollkills. And she poofed. So there's some conspiracy theories online that Deseos might be coming back. Do you think that's just wishful thinking? Because I feel like once she turned into the bird, she's just gone.
I think it's wishful thinking. I think people are reading too much into Maca saying like, you're going to the altar role, you'll be remembered or not. And I think it was that or not.
Yeah.
That triggered the sales. So it first triggered the sales, which is why I think she came back into the Salsao like pissed. Because this girl had just told her like, oh no, like no one's gonna remember you. So I think it's just like kind of just following up from the episode before where actually no one went home.
Yeah.
It was just more like a joke on that. I don't think she's coming back.
I don't think she is, unfortunately. It is interesting though, because this is now 2 seasons in a row where the person who goes home first is heavily featured in a song that will play a lot during the season, because we have her saying Mommy, and what's the song called?
Mommy. The song is called Safari.
Yes. And she's featured on it. So we'll be hearing her throughout the season. Yeah,
so it's Yari Mejia, which is the judge, and which she looks stunning, by the way. We didn't even talk about her look. Like that wig, incredible. And it's Yari Sofia featuring the Sales Fab. Incredible song that Mami C. Yeah, that's what I said.
You said Yari Sofia.
I said Yari Mejia.
I did not hear that.
We'll see what the edit says. And it's Yari Sofia. No, but yeah, it's Yari Mejia featuring the Sales Fab.
Yes, and that will be playing. We'll get to hear it all week, and it reminded me of.
I was singing it all week.
Yes. But it reminded me of that very excellent episode of season 4 with Aurora's version of the La Mas Draga theme song.
Soy la mas, soy la mas, soy la mas. Not again, please.
And just hearing that like 9 times in a row, you don't want to hear that.
Go to the semifinal for La Mas Draga season 4, and literally you will hear that song 5-6 times.
Okay, well, that's kind of it for the actual episode this week, but we did want to read a couple comments that were left on our videos previous.
Yeah, so we want to thank everyone that's been watching. And,
thank you so much. We're so surprised.
We've enjoyed all of your comments, and we've read all of them, and we appreciate, like, you liking and commenting, and also, like, giving us some feedback. Like we always appreciate that.
If you have a question for us that you would like us to answer on the show, just go ahead and leave a comment and we'll take a couple screenshots each week and we'll read some of our favorite comments like we're going to do right now. Our first comment comes from Zigane. I believe you have a System Shock avatar, so I at least know that much. Zigane says, "Oh my god, congratulations on the marriage. Thank you."
Thank you.
And I believe this is in relation to Deseos going home first and how that affected you. Zigane says, "Definitely not experiencing a heartbreak montage where I'm crying in front of a bathroom mirror and frantically cutting my bangs, curled up in the fetal position in the shower for an hour, then solemnly smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke nicotine, but for the montage, I will. On a park swing set at night in the suburbs. Anyway, love this new series."
What a great, that's literally how everyone was feeling.
That's how we were feeling. And you have a very good writing instinct. I felt like you already had the storyboard, like, good to go. So I want to watch
I already
this.
saw the movie in my head, so.
Yeah. Go ahead and make it into a TikTok. Thank you, Sigane. Next up, we have a comment from Nano. And they say, "I'm very happy seeing other people enjoy this show. And even more when people from other countries enjoy it too. I just want to say that Deseos has a lot of drag moms. She was part of the House of Durango. Barbara and Cecilia Durango from season 1 were her drag mothers. And then Margaret Iya from season 2 adopted her. Did not know that. There was a situation during the auditions for season 4 that caused some tension between them."
That was iconic.
Okay, love that. You'll tell me about that off air. "Finally, Georgiana adopted her. I think she is now on good terms with all of her past mothers. Good, love to hear that. So I believe it is safe to say that she has 4 drag mothers. Aww.
And she has iconic 4 drag mothers. Like all of them. Every single one has been on the show and has also just...
Well, Georgie was famous before she went on the show. Social media famous, at least. So she is very beloved by these very established queens. Yes. Deservedly so.
Yeah. I mean, I would adopt her. Actually, I would want her to adopt me.
Nano also says, "And with Hidden, I believe her mother is Ritsu. Sifa is her aunt." And I think we misspoke and we called Sifa her mother.
Oh.
But she does
that one I did not know.
Yeah, she called Sifa her aunt, not her mother.
Cute.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for telling us that.
Thank you for the corrections. Love that. Next up, we have a comment from Shadow123. And this is in regards to our question about the 5th wave, the Quinta Ola. Why is it called this? And this was very helpful. "They use different slogans for every season. This time they use the 5th wave, as in the dystopian book and movie of the same name. This was like a movie that was supposed to be a series, but only the first movie came out. And even the teaser of the season, you could hear the traditional sound of the Hunger Games at the end. So I guess YA is the theme of the season. Totally missed that. For the 4th season, they used the 4T, 4th transformation, which is a term used by our president, the Mexican president, to refer to a paradigm shift in our society. Is this something AMLO said? Or the previous one?
I have no idea.
Well, we don't know anything. But thank you for telling us this.
But this is so insane because I feel
we
like...
watched that whole season and did not notice that at all.
Like, I guess because we're not from there, we didn't really get the transformation aspect of it. So it's really good to have people, tell us the real meanings. And, to really think about it, like in previous seasons and be like, oh, they really have selected specific themes for each of the seasons. And so...
Apparently it goes back to the 3rd season because the 3rd season, they called it the 3rd round, which I never noticed that either. So, learning a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shadow123. That was a very informative comment.
Yeah, thank you, Shadow.
And the final comment that we will be highlighting today is from Edgar Paredes, and he comments, D+ this review. Now.
Can we please talk about this?
Now, Edgar, this is not your fault, but I woke up and I saw this review deserves a D+. That's what I read as an English speaker.
And so it wasn't until we talked about it that,
Well, I had spent all day being like, this person did not like a review. He gave it a D. Like a D+ at least. But
it was like a school test. I got a D+.
I was like, well, it's almost a C. Like, I can talk to my mom about this. She won't be that mad.
No, you were very nice on taking that until we were talking about some of these comments. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. This person gives además. Like, he gives a fantastic, good job review. And so, it's not your fault. I think that this is like,
I just don't understand a lot of things.
Yeah, so in Spanish you would say D+ to say like you did a great job.
Oh, well, great. And thank you for clearing that up, Sergio. And Edgar, I was never mad at you. If you think this show deserves a D+, tell us. We'll try and make it better. And I think that's all that we're going to be able to talk about this week. But please join us next week for episode 4 of La Mas Draga season 5. And join us in the near future after that where, I don't know, we'll watch some movies or something.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. See you next week. Bye. Mwah.
Mwah. You have to do the sales pop.
Mwah.